Okay, we're ready to get going on this thing again here. I've already sprayed his upper area down with water, so he's ready to get his shirt painted and hopefully the vest too. So I'm going to set him off here, got to take his head off. He's ready to go. I went through my research books over here. Came up with this fella here. This is a painting called Ready to Ride. But anyway, what's important to me was the color. Now this is a little too pink for my way of thinking. My cowboys don't wear pink. And I like the paint red. And in the case of this cowboy, I want a nice reddish rusty color. So the best paint for a red rusty color is red iron oxide, the same color we use when we mix our flesh colored paint. Okay, and I've squeezed some out for me over here. This thing is just about ready to give up the ghost. And the rumor is that they've stopped making red iron oxide. Well, I'm not concerned about that. I have a couple bottles sitting up here, which should last me till I'm finished with painting cowboys. So, but anyway, it's going to look good. So let's get out my brush here. And change my glasses. Put on my Dollar General glasses here. Now we have to be kind of careful here because we don't want to get red on any area that doesn't need red. Now again, lay your brush down, push it up in there, just like that. Those tight corners. That's the way you do it. It's the only way to do it. There's a Japanese fellow on the Caricature Carvers Facebook page who did some carvings of some women, girls, let's say. Let me get that spot down there. There we go. They're, I think, are really fantastic. And I made a comment telling him, you know, that I really thought those things were great. And then I thought about it a while, and I went back and I amended my comment to where I said, let's give this guy, you know, these carvings are so great, and they are so unique and original. Let's give this guy the respect he needs for coming up with those figures by just appreciating them and not by rushing to carve some just like, you know, basically take his idea and do our own. Copy them. Because to me that's important. If someone does original work, and I'm not talking about Santa Clauses and gnomes and stuff like that you see in a Wood Carving Illustrated magazine. I'm talking about original work that you haven't seen before. That, my way of thinking, for a while anyway, I mean, really, it would fall under copyright protection. Because when someone does something like that, all he has to do is put a little C on there, and that's copyrighted. To where if someone comes along and copies it without his permission, he can get him a lawyer and take him to court. Of course, he's not going to do that. And I'm not going to do that if someone steals some of my designs. But it's kind of, I don't know, it's just unethical to push it up in there, just like that. Works every time. It's unethical to rush out, get a piece of wood, and try to duplicate what somebody else has spent their time coming up with the design and everything. It happens to me a lot, and I don't like it. There was a guy, talk about stealing somebody's work. There was a guy in the Soviet Union, well, I mean, now it's Russia, but I still look at it as the Soviet Union. Nothing's changed much but the name. Who was duplicating my work, and he was doing a darn good job of it, too. Every time I would come up with a new carving, he would make one of his own. And he had a site on eBay selling them. Well, I sent a note to him and eBay, told him to knock it off because it's not right. And he had the respect enough to realize, well, maybe I made a mistake, I shouldn't do this. And he stopped. At least I think he did. It's not on eBay anymore. I mean, he could well be doing it, continuing to do it. But I know people copy my carvings. The ones that I put on my blog where I show them how to do it, you're more than welcome to take those and create your own. But the ones that I do, like I posted some pictures of a Teddy Roosevelt carving I did on my blog just the other day, which is one of my favorite carvings, and I did not show anybody, give them a bunch of videos showing them how to go about making their own. That's my carving. Someone bought that. It's in their collection, and I don't think they want anyone reproducing it either. They paid good money for it. It's theirs, and they can look at it and say, I did that, it's unique. There's not another one like it. It's an original carving. That's the way things are supposed to work. That's just my opinion. And if you don't like that one, I probably have another one I'll give you. I don't know who said that, but it's funny. If you don't like that opinion, let me know. I'll give you another one. Like I say, I'm being very careful not to get paint over on other areas because it is impossible. Well, not impossible, but it is very hard to cover up red. But I think in a lot of my videos I've told you how you can do it. You use use gray paint. Went to the new grocery store down in Jay, Oklahoma. What'd you say? It's hot? It is hot in here. It's cold outside, but I built a nice wood fire for Judy to come down and run the camera. So I'm hot. It's pretty good, doesn't it? There's one area in there. I need to flatten my brush. There we go. So anyway, you see what I'm doing here, so let's just take a break, give Judy a break, and I'll go ahead and paint the rest of this. This is where these burnt lines really come in handy. You can see that when I go across, come up next to them, the paint doesn't crawl over yet down in here where there's nothing. The paint will bleed out. Okay, but anyway, we'll come back in a minute and continue this. Okay, we've got the shirt painted, but I forgot one thing. I always do. I paint the head, paint the flesh color, and I always forget the hands or the arms down here. So now I got to correct that. So I'm going to take make a little flesh color here. So the yellow. These arms are out in the sun, so they're going to be a little redder than the head. Like that color. All right, where am I? Okay, now the gloves are going to be dark burnt umber, but before we paint those, I still have something to do with the shirt, and I want to show you. We're going to weather it a little bit, but I want to show you something. Show you with this shirt. See the different in colors? If you roll your shirt up like that, that don't look right. That's not right. So we got to fix that. So as soon as I pick out my goop in my paint here, I guess it's most of it. I'm going to take some of this parchment paint. Give me some more of that. Out of there. There's enough paint in here. More than enough. I'll take some red, some of this parchment paint. Better put my shoe back up before I drag it through my paint, huh? What did I do? See the difference? Makes it look a heck of a lot better. And it's the way things really are, so that's what we're after here. We might be carving a caricature, you know, you can get away with a lot of stuff, but still you got to make it as accurate as possible to make your figures look best. See here? Won't that look better? And knowing that this is the way things are, this helps you because you see things like this. It makes you aware. And to become a good painter or a good wood carver or an artist or whatever, being aware of things is one of the most important things that you have to make good paintings. Whoops. A little more white in there than I should have. That way when you see things, the next time, if you're watching this video and you're seeing what I'm doing here, the next time you see someone with rolled up sleeves, you're going to look at those and you want to be aware of them. And you will. You'll look at them. I bet you. And you'd say to yourself, well, by God, he was right. Look at that. That guy's got his sleeves rolled up and they're a different color than the rest of the shirt. You became aware. Now that's just a little bit lighter over here. And I want to work on the other side, so we'll blend that out. What was that? Sounds like something's underneath there, but it's not. Okay. So I'm going to brush my thing out now. Another thing, wear points. Right there's a wear point, and there's a wear point. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get a little white, put it on there, and just kind of bounce your brush around. like to put a little straight white in there just to make it look like the thread's kind of busted up. Like that. Now, where's another wear point? Right here. That's always getting in the way. When he's down on his knees wrestling some cow, trying to hold him down, the brand, his shirt's going to wear right in here, all across here. And then up along the seam where these buttons are. Looks good. Okay, got that done. Now for the vest and the suspenders. Suspenders are kind of a gray, and for that I'm going to go to my mudstone color. And I'm not going to use much paint, so I'm just going to paint right out of the cap. And mudstone being a gray, it's going to cover any red, I hope, that I might have accidentally slopped over on the suspender. Judy, it's hot in here. My ears are burning. I got a note this morning from my brother, younger brother. He's going on a road trip to see the Ark over there. I forget where exactly it is. All right, had that done. Oops, just remembered something. Yep, didn't need to remember that. So we got that done. Now down at the end of the suspender is a little triangle of leather, which we need to paint. There. Like that. Should actually be doing this with a smaller brush. Line wearing here. Here's a small brush I used the other day. There it is. Okay. Now I just now for the things that go on down to the pants, I just what's the matter? Her elbow hurts. I just indicated them with a thin burn line rather than the carving. There, that's good. That looks good. What do you think? And there's a little bit of red here that I got to get rid of. Oh, I fell for it again. When you're cleaning your brush, I'll show you. I do that, get all the paint out of it. Don't do what I just did and go paint. See that drip? That came from right here. You dip your, here, let me do it again. Okay, you get to paint. And you get ready to go paint. And that happens because that water in the brush, edge of the brush, runs right down there and just pools at the end of your brush. What you do is you lay your brush down when you're drying it and make sure you get that ferrule wet too. Or wet. No, don't get your ferrule wet. Get your ferrule dry and that won't happen to you. So now I got to go back and paint that again. I'm going to take a break here. Okay, on his vest, this is sort of a brownish olive drab. So I'm going to paint that on there. So I got my brown here. Give me some green. This is avocado. Come out of there. I don't use it very often, so the top's froze. Trying to hurry along here today. I want to get this thing done because I've got another carving to do and I want to do it. You get an idea for a piece, at least I do. And you just get that urge to do it. So I'm going to mix avocado with the brown. See if I can approximate that color. Looks like it's going pretty good here. Let's see how close I got. Look at that. Look at that. You can't hardly tell the difference. So again, speed the process up here. I'm going to go ahead and paint this and then we'll come back and go to the next step. Okay, for the neckerchief, I've decided to paint it with, where was it? Is that it? Yeah. Raw sienna. And then we're going to highlight it with a lighter color, probably parchment, to blend things in. You're probably saying, boy, he sure does waste a lot of paint. And I probably do. The paint's cheap. So it doesn't concern me. I get my money's worth out of the paint that I buy. It lasts a long time. I want to make sure that I always have enough to get the job done. I don't want to run out halfway through and then not be able to finish what I started. That little red right down there. Looks good. Now I'm going to take a little brown here. Maybe a little bit more. And paint those seams. Probably because it's so hot in here. Now with the parchment, I'm going to take my, back here, hair dryer. What this is doing is it's just hitting the tops of those. What do you think? Good? Hmm? She's awful quiet back there. Alright, so we stop that. Now, I'm going to paint those gloves dark umber, but actually just umber. But, well, dark umber, so I'm sorry. But I'm not going to do that on the video. Just, it's going to be about this color here. What I want to do is I want to do the silk back part of the vest. Now what I have here, this is called interference green. It's a, what's the word? It's been a while since I used it. There we go. Iridescence, that's what I'm looking for. Iridescent color. But I'm using it because this has green in it. Okay, I use two colors for the back silk when I'm doing silk. I use rich copper. This is also an iridescent color. Pretty color, and I can mix that with reds. And this one I can mix with greens. So I'm going to squeeze me out just a little bit of it. Doesn't take very much. It's more than enough there. I'm going to take a little bit of green. I'm going to paint this. And you can see, let me get some more paint on here first. You can see it has just sort of a little iridescence. Looks neat, I think. Make it a little darker so it'll show up even more. I really like doing things like this, you know, making my things just a little bit different than everybody else's. Because I don't want to go to a wood carving show only to find out that everybody else has picked up my techniques, and I'm competing against myself if I want to enter a contest or something. And that's happened before. I've even gotten beat by myself, by someone doing my carvings. Talk about embarrassing. That goes back to that Japanese wood carver who did those terrific little ladies. Just don't do it. It's original work. Leave it alone. Come up with your own ideas. That's the secret. That's the best thing. Let me put some straight color on there just to get that much better. Down on the edges. Ooh, that picks up the color, don't it? There we go. It's starting to look like silk now. What do you think, huh? I like it. Okay, so just hit on here a little. Okay, like I say, I'm going to do this off camera. It's just painted dark, and then I'm going to highlight it with a little brushed highlights like I did back here on the back. And then we're going to glue it all together. Well, I'll also do the buttons and the buckles. And then in the last video, what we're going to do, we're going to do the metal parts, for the chaps, for the buckles, or the leather tongues of the belts, and the ropes. We're going to make the rope, and if we have time, we'll varnish the figure, because he's basically finished painting now. So we'll see what happens in the next video. May be able to wrap it up, may be able not to. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, I'll talk to you back then.